Derick Giwner along with Matt Rose here at DRF headquarters to talk about the Levy Memorial and the Blue Chip Matchmaker for April the 13th and 14th. The matchmaker kicks it off on Fridays, as always, as we get into the fifth leg here, and these horses prepare to go on to the final. At least 8 of them will go on to the final. We're going to look at one of the divisions here, race number 6, and we have a 7-horse field with Moto Moonbeam on the rail, obviously, but the favorite in here, I'm going to assume, is going to be Mackenzie A, despite post 7, right?
Yeah, I got to imagine she's going to be the favorite again. She's proven that the last 2 starts that she can hack and come from off the pace. She'll be from off the pace again here. She needs to pick up those points to secure a spot in the final. And I love the way Stratton got, you could say, as aggressive as you can get without really having gate speed from outside post, because basically 2 starts in a row, he was on the move by the second turn to get into position to be able to grind or catch second over cover and not be too far back. And she was able to draw off in both of those starts. There's no reason why she can't do it again from this outside spot. I do think she's the horse I think she's going to end up being the horse to beat in the final, assuming she makes the final. And go back-to-back in the Blue Chip matchmaker, but I don't know. Tough spot tonight from a betting standpoint.
From a position standpoint here, Lakeisha Hall probably has a little bit of advantage, and we're going to take a look at her win from last week, and also Moto Moonbeam and Dude's a Lady roll in this race.
Yeah, Lakeisha Hall has really impressed me coming back this year. You saw her get away very, very easy, 57.5. But her start before, she ripped out of a pocket to beat LA Delight. Start before that was the start that really impressed me. It was a second start in the Blue Chip Matchmaker 3 weeks ago. Showed sizzling early speed in a 26 1/4. Ended up yielding to Lady Shadow and had some finishing pace to at least get up for second after Mackenzie A was drawn off in that race. That race really impressed me, and she came back with a nice win at 6 1. Another nice front end win, and you know what? From a tactical standpoint, she's got the advantage again in this race, and she can very easily go wire to window yet again, and she will be my top choice.
The question I have here is whether or not Lakeisha Hall is definitely going down the road here, whether or not Moto Moonbeam, presses on the gas tries to keep her out. We're going to take a look at the point standings, and this is somewhat key for me, in that Lakeisha Hall, you see her on the top, she's already in the final. She don't have to work that hard if she don't want to. So if she leaves a little bit and Moto Moonbeam leaves hard, why would George Brendan keep driving on and hurt his horse? Why not reserve a little bit for next week?
Okay, meanwhile, Moto Moonbeam, she's a nice mare, but coming into the series, you can make the case that she's not as proven as the other horses. She's right there in the standings. Why would Brett Holland want to push off hard and kill himself and his mare? You have to think of the same theory. Why wouldn't, let's say Lakeisha Hall can push off hard. I suppose Lady Shadow can leave. I suppose Miss Irish Rose can leave. Why wouldn't George Brennan want to just push off hard, secure the front, be able to back down the second quarter, which is what these drivers like to do, and it's a great tactical advantage. I see no reason why, like I said, she doesn't have the tactical edge here.
At the bottom of those standings, you see Lady Shadow and Mackenzie A, both in this race, 178, 175 points here. Mackenzie A really needs to win to guarantee a spot, and that's also the case for Lady Shadow here. So you have 2 horses in this race that really need to show up with a big effort. I mean, they could probably finish second and get in, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, you know what, Lady Shadow, she hasn't been bad this season. She hasn't been good either. You can make the case she's been a major disappointment. Didn't even leave the gate. Tried it from first over last week. Raced okay, finished third, but was clearly outfinished by a trip sitter and a horse coming from last. Really was not an overly impressive race. I don't know what to expect from her, and I'll just take a wait and see approach, see if she can show some more guts finishing her miles.
So you're going Lakeisha Hall. I'm going to go with Mackenzie A here. I just feel like I've been overly impressed with what I've seen from her. She's going to need a little help. Hopefully Lakeisha Hall does leave, because I'm going to need a little bit of pace there for her to close into, but I feel like the connections know she has to come up with a big effort here to make the final, and I'm expecting we're going to see it, because, as you said, she's a horse that I expect could very well win the final if she gets in.
Right, if she makes the final and she draws anywhere in the inside or reasonable post, regardless of the other horses in the series, you didn't mention Chartanen, she'll be my pick if she runs in any sort of reasonable spot.
No doubt about it. We're going to move from Friday to Saturday. On Saturday, we have the George Morton Levy Series. We're going to look at the 3rd division. It's race number 7. We have the outside there is kind of top-heavy with Dr. J and somewhere in L.A. and bit of a legend.
Yeah, with no disrespect to the four inside horses, who are all nice horses. Luciano, Killer Martini, Mr. Daytona, always at my place. The firepower's on the outside this week with 3 horses that are already pretty much locked to be in the final, which makes it an interesting or possibly confusing betting affair here. We talked about a bit of a legend who was our lock of the year last week and won as expected in hand at 1-9. Somewhere in LA, 2 moves, rated, took care of business. Dr. J. Hanover took the week off after 3 straight nice front end, well-rated wins. From a handicapping or gambling standpoint, what the heck do we do here?
Well, let's take a look at what Somewhere in LA did last week as he romped as usual. He's just cruising around the track here.
Yeah, I believe that was Rock and Ron, the 3 on the outside that just really didn't leave the gate, offered up nothing. We saw Joe Bongiorno leave at $1,000,000 on a horse that you kind of touted.
Yeah, I gave him out a little bit at 90-1.
Yeah, and then I asked you, well, after the race.
And of course, I didn't play him.
I heard crickets. Yeah, well. Very solid effort, but Somewhere in LA has been sharp, came back sharp all season long, since the beginning of the season. 4 wins, 2 seconds, 6 starts, almost $100,000 earned already. Going to cruise into the final.
One of the keys in this race could turn out to be these point standings that we're going to put up on the board here. I mean, when you look at them, Somewhere in LA, bit of a legend, you know, Dr. J. Hanover, they're all at the top of these standings, and quite frankly, they're all in the final. Rock and Ron, interestingly enough, because he didn't drop in, he didn't get those 25 bonus points, he needs a little something to go right. I mean, granted, everything would have to go wrong for him not to make the final, right, but it is possible that it could happen. But with all 3 of them, Somewhere in LA, bit of a legend, Dr. J. Hanover in the final, does that affect their decision-making here? You know, I was reading a piece that we'll have this week in the newsletter that Jason Bartlett said he might not be able to leave this week with Dr. J. Hanover to his inside, that Somewhere in LA might have to be a little bit more patient. I'd be shocked if bit of a legend left. You know, it has me thinking that Dr. J. Hanover is going to cruise to the front and set soft fractions.
All right, you know what? The first 3 weeks of this series, I said, I'm going to try to beat Dr. J. Hanover. Meanwhile, he cruised on the front end, walked the half, 3 starts in a row, and had plenty left to finish. You know what? I look at this race, I don't see any reason why he doesn't fire to the leading 2 steps and waltzes around the track again. Luciano N has enough speed from the inside to protect position. Killer Martini can't leave. Mr. Daytona can't really leave. Always at my place. Game win in the first go around.
He hasn't shown up since then.
Decent effort when he got rebuffed by Dr. J. Hanover, but then really didn't fire at all in his last 2 starts. I don't see any reason why Dr. J. Hanover does not have the lead here in 2 steps. Yet again, with possibly Luciano N securing a pocket. Somewhere in LA, I guess Bartlett and Stratton with Somewhere in LA and bit of a legend can try to float out and try to get a seat. Maybe Killer Martini can't keep up early and there could be a hole somewhere. But 3 weeks, three Levy legs trying to beat Dr. J. Hanover, and then I'm frustrated when he waltzes around the track. Now I'm going to bet him expecting to waltz around the track, and hopefully that'll be the case.
I completely expect him to waltz around the track, and it actually says walk in the park on my paper here. I put a little note. I think he's going to go to the front. I think he's going to set soft fractions. I wouldn't even be shocked if Luciano N followed him through those soft fractions and got second here.
Yeah, I mean, this could line up 5-1 with Luciano N. He's shown that he has speed, especially to protect. And you know Brent Holland likes to be aggressive early.
I think you're probably safe in this race with a 5-1 with 6-7 trifecta, 5 with 6-7 with 1. Well, I think that's a decent play in this race, and you could get a little bit more value not using the 6 or 7 in both the second and third spots.
You know what? The problem is, I think Dr. J. Hanover is going to take a lot of the public's support here. Probably will be a heavy favorite with all the wise guys out there saying, oh, Somewhere in LA, a bit of legend, outside posts. We loved them last week, but no chance this week. And they're all going to pile on Dr. J. Hanover, but probably rightfully so. And I wouldn't discount any of the 3 inside horses from picking up a share here. Killer Martini, I mean, is certainly a nice horse. Mr. Daytona almost won round 1 of the Levy from an inside post. But you figure they're going to be following through what's soft fractions. Anyone can suck up for third depending on how much of a disadvantaged position Somewhere in LA and bit of a legend are, but Dr. J. Hanover down the road. We'll see how it shakes out on the track in the 5th leg of the Matchmaker and the Levy. Then we'll come back next week. We'll talk about the 2 finals. I think the Levy is going to go for like 530 something. Over maybe. 5, I know that. Well over 500,000. I think if I did my math right, the Matchmaker's about 370,000. Should be 2 great races. We'll see you then. Good luck.